June. Welcome to all here in the chapel and online. And a special welcome to Jane, who will be our administrator and that's great to have, who is our administrator. Great to have you on board, Jane, and thanks for joining us this morning. Thank you everyone for being part of our gathering as we explore the familiar afresh. We'll take the opportunity to linger with a familiar story and see what the words might have to say to us today. As we gather in this place and in the places of our online community, we acknowledge the original custodians of the unceded land on which we meet. Here at Surrey Hills, the Wurundjeri people, and we pay our respects to their elders, past and present. We acknowledge and honour with gratitude and humility the oldest continuing culture in the world, and in particular the relationship with the land, their wisdom and rich heritage of storytelling, ceremony, spirituality, and community. As a people seeking to live fully in the love of God and with love for others, we want Hartwell to be a life-affirming place. Regardless of gender, sexuality, race, family background, economic situation, where you come from, what abilities you have, your spiritual path, tradition, or ethical conviction. You are all welcome here, and we want you to feel safe here. David's going to light the Christ candle. We light the Christ candle as a symbol of God's presence with us. We take a short time to gaze upon the light of the candle or to close our eyes, to calm our breath, to gentle our minds. There is nothing to do. There is nowhere else to be. Breathe slowly. Be still. Be present here in this moment. May light brighten, lighten, and enlighten our spirits as we share this time together. Amen. So the familiar afresh, revisiting, sitting with. There's so much input that we receive today in these times, always something new. But what about the old things? We're going to sit with a story that perhaps you might have first heard in Sunday school, and we'll bring some fresh eyes to a familiar story as we pay attention to the words and ideas. What more might there be to discover? What does it have to say to us today? So the reflective practice that we're going to have, some of you may have be familiar with it because you've done it before or I've introduced it to you before. So we're going to have the story read in 3 voices, and after each reading there'll be a time of pausing so you can do your own reflection on the text. So the context of this story is a story told by Jesus. The tax collectors and sinners were coming to listen to him. The religious leaders, the Pharisees and scribes, were complaining and saying, "This guy welcomes sinners and eats with them." And Jesus responded with a story. So first of all, Jocelyn's going to read the text to us. You may want to close your eyes as she reads. After the story is read, we'll pause and there'll be time to think about the words or the images or the ideas which capture your attention or which perhaps prompt you in an unexpected way. Thanks, Jess.
Jesus continued, "There was a man who had 2 sons. The younger one said to his father, 'Father, give me my share of the estate.' So his father divided his property between them. Not long after, the younger son got together all he had and set off to a distant country, and there squandered his wealth in wild living. After he'd spent everything, there was a severe famine in the whole country, and he began to be in need. So he went and hired himself out to the citizen of that country, who sent him to the fields to feed pigs. He longed to fill his stomach with the pods that the pigs were eating, but no one gave him anything. When he came to his senses, he said, 'How many of my father's hired servants have food to spare? And here I am starving to death. I will set out and go back to my father and say to him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and against you. I'm no longer worthy to be called your son. Make me one of your hired servants.' So he got up and went to his father. But while he was still a long way off, his father saw him, and he was filled with compassion for him. He ran to his son, threw his arms around him and kissed him. The son said to him, 'Father, I have sinned against heaven and against you. I'm no longer worthy to be called your son.' But the father said to his servants, 'Quick, bring the best robe and put it on him. Put a ring on his finger and sandals on his feet. Bring the fattened calf and kill it. Let's have a feast and celebrate. For this son of mine who was dead is alive again, and he was lost and is found.' So they began to celebrate. Meanwhile, the older son was in the field. When he came near the house, he heard music and dancing. So he called to one of the servants and asked him what was going on. 'Your brother has come,' he replied, 'and your father has killed the fattened calf because he has him back safe and sound.' The older brother was angry and refused to go in. So his father went out and pleaded with him. But he answered his father, 'Look, all these years I've been slaving for you and never disobeyed your orders. Yet you never even gave a young goat for me to celebrate with my friends. But when this son of yours, who squandered your property with prostitutes, comes home, you kill the fattened calf for him.' 'My son,' the father said, 'you are always with me, and everything I have is yours. But we had to celebrate and be glad because this brother of yours was dead and he's alive again. He was lost and is found.'"
we'll hear the story again. As Trevor reads to us, pay particular attention to those parts of the story that resonated for you and allow them to percolate your thoughts, your emotions, and your imagination. You may want to silently repeat a word or a phrase that stirs you. Again, there'll be time to reflect after the reading.
Jesus continued. There was a man who had 2 sons. The younger one said to his father, "Father, give me my share of the estate." So he divided the property between them. Not long after that, the youngest son got together all he had, set off for a different country, and there squandered his wealth in wild living. After he had spent everything, there was a severe famine in that whole country, and he began to be in need. So he went and hired himself to a citizen of that country, who sent him to his fields to feed pigs. He longed to fill his stomach with the pods that the pigs were eating, but no one gave him anything. When he came to his senses, he said, "How many of my father's hired servants have food to spare? And here I am starving to death. I will set out and go back to my father and say to him, 'Father, I have sinned against heaven and against you. I am no longer worthy to be called your son. Make me like one of your hired servants.' So he got up and went to his father. But while he was a long way off, his father saw him and was filled with compassion for him. He ran to his son, threw his arms around him and kissed him. The son said to him, 'Father, I have sinned against heaven and against you. I am no longer worthy to be called your son.' But the father said to his servants, 'Quick, bring the best robe and put it on him. Put a ring on his finger and sandals on his feet. Bring the fattened calf and kill them. Let us have a feast and celebrate, for the son of mine was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found.' So they began to celebrate. Meanwhile, the older son was in the field. When he came near the house, he heard music and dancing. So he called one of the servants and asked him what was going on. 'Your brother has come,' he replied, 'and your father has killed the fattened calf because he has him back safe and sound.' The older brother became angry and refused to go in. So his father went out and pleaded with him. But he answered his father, 'Look, all these years I have been slaving for you and never disobeyed your orders. Yet you never gave me even a young goat so I could celebrate with my friends. But when this son of yours who has squandered your property with prostitutes comes home, you kill the fattened calf for him.' 'My son,' the father said, 'you are always with me and everything I have is yours. But we had to celebrate and be glad because this brother of yours was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found.'"
We'll hear the text for a final time. Reflect on the words, the feelings, the images and ideas which have arrived for you. Imagine yourself in the action of the story. This story has been variously referred to as the parable of the lost son, the parable of the loving father, the parable of the two brothers, the parable of the lost and found. Who are you, or where are you in this story today? There'll be another time of pausing after the final reading by Anne, followed by some quiet music from Michael. And that will allow you time to respond to the invitation of this story in your own thoughts and prayers.
Jesus continued, "There was a man who had 2 sons. The younger one said to his father, 'Father, give me a share of the estate.' So he divided his property between them. Not long after that, the younger son got together all he had, set off on a distant country, and there squandered his wealth in wild living. After he'd spent everything, there was a severe famine in the whole country, and he began to be in need. So he went and hired himself out to a citizen of that country, who sent him out to the fields to feed pigs. He longed to fill his stomach with the pods that the pigs were eating, but no one gave him anything. When he came to his senses, he said, 'How many of my father's hired servants have food to spare, and here I am starving to death? I will set out and go to my father and say to him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and earth and you. I am no longer worthy to be called your son. Make me like one of your hired servants.' So he got up and went to his father. But while he was still a long way off, his father saw him and was filled with compassion for him. He ran to his son, threw his arms around him and kissed him. The son said to him, 'Father, I have sinned against heaven and against you. I am no longer worthy to be called your son.' But the father said to his servants, 'Quick, bring the best robe and put it on him. Put a ring on his finger and sandals on his feet. Bring him the fattened calf and kill it. Let's have a feast to celebrate. For this son of mine was dead and he is alive again. He was lost and he is found.' So they began to celebrate. Meanwhile, the older son was in the field. When he came near the house, he heard the music and dancing. So he called one of the servants and asked him what was going on. 'Your brother has come,' he replied, 'and your father has killed the fattened calf because he has him back safe and sound.' The older brother became angry and refused to go. So his father went out and pleaded with him. But he answered his father, 'Look, all these years I've been slaving for you and never disobeyed your orders. Yet you never gave me even a young goat so I could celebrate with my friends. But when this son of yours who has squandered your property with prostitutes comes home, you kill the fattened calf for him.' 'My son,' the father said, 'you are always with me and everything I have is yours. But we had to celebrate and be glad because this brother of yours was dead and he is alive again. He was lost and he is found.'"
We're going to have a time now where you have the opportunity to share what you've received in this time of reflection. And I'm going to invite you to engage with something I learnt on my recent travels in Uzbekistan. I observed some people doing this, and when I inquired about it, it was a simple action to hold and receive prayers and blessings. So hold your hands gently in front of you in a cup shape for yourself and each other, and receive the blessings and hold them. And then at the conclusion of the time, you take your cup of prayers and blessings for yourself, for each other, and pour them over your face. Like that. So we'll hold the blessings, and at the end we'll do that together. So, would anyone like to share a word or an image that resonated with them from the text and your time of reflection? Oh, sure.
Probably my favourite parable, but I was reflecting when I was 15, I was in a school production of Godspell, and I actually played the character of Jesus, believe it or not, wearing a bright yellow jumpsuit. It was 1979. And I narrated that parable as that was part of the performance. And we had intermittent acting out of the phrases. So my favourite one was when we said he wasted his money on wild living. There was then a 20-second sort of vignette of actions going on around the stage of people playing out what they regarded as wild living. So yeah, I always love hearing that parable, and it's got so many layers to it. The reflection on the justice or the equity between the two brothers. The question you always ask yourself about whether the father was being excessively generous or should have standards, which he didn't seem to have. Would it catch up with him in the long run? Would the wealth of the family be gone any minute? All of those sort of thoughts wash over you. And the other thing, thank you for the images that were up on the screen while the readings were occurring. I felt very sorry in one of them for the fatted calf, who looked a bit despondent as the axe was being waved above his head. So, what do we do this?
Yeah, we'll do it all at the end. Yeah. Thanks, David. Would anyone else like to share something that they discovered? You could do it from your seat or come up the front. Either is welcome.
Whenever I hear it, it's always, how would I be as the older brother, you know? I can really identify with the older brother. Yeah, so I guess it's just an extension of what you were saying, really. And yeah, I've had it discussed at various points throughout my life, and most people go, yeah, I think the older brother's got a bit of a point there.
I can see the older brother's point, but also it's a special occasion. I don't know. But I can see both sides of the argument. I'm always struck by the older brother portion of the parable. If only for his complaint of, you haven't even given me a young goat to go celebrate my friends. And I've always felt that the father's response, everything that I have is also yours, was like a backhanded, did you ever ask? But it is that beautiful sort of, because to do a party like just immediately would stop everything. And so it's that sort of stop the presses, stop everything sort of celebration, that kind of sticks with me.
Anyone else? Before? Something that struck me was that I'd not noticed before was tend to focus on the brothers, but not the father. And the line, when he was still a long way off, his father saw him. And then also noticing that I'd not noticed before, when the older brother is saying how unjust it is and he is angry, the father's left the party to go and talk to him. So with thanks, may these reflections encourage, nurture and empower us in the days ahead. Amen. So a song for us now, Come As You Are. Thanks David and Caroline. That quiet action of blessing that I observed when I was travelling in Uzbekistan has stayed with me. So we were out for a meal, and the people at the adjacent table in the restaurant quietly shared a moment at the end of their meal and did that action, and I was curious, so we asked our travel guide what that was about, and he explained that for him it was a kind of blessing and prayer, an expression of gratitude and hope. Not an obligation, but something that some people practiced. So I asked him to share that with our tour group at the end of our meal together, and he prayed and expressed the things that he was grateful for and for which he hoped. I recall in particular he expressed his gratitude for his family, hope for his country, and hope for peace in the world. Now as we come to the communion meal, another shared time around a table, a familiar table with a cup of blessing. As we share this bread and wine together, may we know this table is one of open invitation, one of simplicity and generosity and abundance. May it remind us of the God who looks out for us, the God who sees us even while we might be a long way off, or even while we might be right nearby. The God who welcomes us and seeks us out. The God who throws a party for us. The God who says, "Come as you are," and who welcomes you home. So take the emblems in your own time, and there'll be some music from Chris and Michael. Thank you.
In our own silence, we edge our way closer to you, closer to the mystery that we call love, Today, our paths come together as we make our way to you. And even from a long way away, you recognise us. When we turn towards you, you are already present. And as we come into your presence, you are already there, full of grace and compassion. From far away, you see the way we hold ourselves, the way we walk, our gestures, those funny things we do that make us unique. And you smile. Your heart is full of compassion and love. When, after a day's travel, we just get a glimpse of you and find out you've been watching us since the sun came up. Your excitement still present in your eyes, your smile still beaming. We look around and we realise what we've guessed all along, that you've been watching us all this time. All those things on our mind, like getting ready to say goodbye to Hartwell property and the work people are doing towards that. Preparing for our final Hartwell service. Thinking about Joyce and her people. Stuff like preparing for Craig when he starts. And we think about Brian. And we're concerned about Robin and her recovery, and the recovery of other people that aren't well. And for those that are facing challenges. And when we see the way you look at us, our heart knows that that is enough. That your look, your smile, your endearment towards us is enough. When we're with you, love is present. Amen.
It seems strange to go into announcements after the prayer. Thanks, Andy. But we will, because that's what's next. There's Dish. Yeah, Dish tonight at the Coas. So let Anne and John know if you're going to. Yeah, great.
So next Sunday is the last service down at Highfield Road. So I'm hoping you'll all come along and to help us say goodbye and thank you to that space. And if you're coming, if you could bring something to share for morning tea would be really good. Thank you.
And next Saturday is one of our quiet days, and we're having it this time at Wellspring in Ashburton. I can't remember what time it starts. 10 o'clock. Andy and I'll be leading it. You know, we're really on top of it. But it would be really helpful if you could let us know if you're planning on coming, so that we have an idea of numbers, and we also have to pay something for the venues. So I think it's $20 for the day, and either bring your own lunch, or there's lots of places around that we can go and buy something for lunch to share together.
Hi, it's always dangerous when I get up. I'm in search of a few muscles as we're getting through the journey of doing some physical work around the place, building-wise. We need to move the chairs out of what was David's office and put them neatly in the hall, so that when the floor gets ripped up, he doesn't have to move all the chairs as well. Thank you.
But
Today, we're doing that.
Today, straight
Today, after church.
Great, thanks everyone. So don't forget Dish tonight and then the special service next Sunday, and come to the quiet day to still yourself in preparation for Sunday. Thanks to everyone involved in the service today, Jocelyn and Anne and Trev and Chris and Michael and Carolyn and David and Isla and Andy and Bo on the live stream. So some concluding words from John O'Donoghue: to come home to yourself. May all that is unforgiven in you be released. May your fears yield their deepest tranquillities. May all that is unlived in you blossom into a future graced with love. Amen.
And we'll just conclude by singing together the Gaelic blessing. May the road rise to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun shine